At Charmin, we make paper, and we love trees. That's why we protect forests.
No, you don't. You started doing that.
Hi, it's been 2 years since the last bus project update. I don't know what's wrong with me, but it doesn't matter now because I'm back, and so is the bus. And by the end of this video, the bus will look like this. So stay tuned to see how I got here.
About
You can't see
time.
me anymore. It's been over 2 years since the last installment of the bus project, and in that amount of time, I've done some work and a lot of procrastinating. Most of the work I did was off camera, so let me get you caught up. I'm not going to reuse any of the windows that I took out of the bus, so I bought some used RV windows, decided where they're going to go, and framed them up here, 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 and here. I decided I'd give the bus a more streamlined look and water tightness by permanently removing all the rub bars that are removed from the side of the bus early on. All these rub bars were attached via screws, so permanently removing them meant screw hole patching. A metric ton of screw hole patching. How did I patch all of these screw holes? I used a metal hole punch to punch out millions of little plugs.
Damn.
The plugs came out slightly conical, so I flattened them with a hammer. Then I very lightly tack welded them in place with the MIG welder, holding them in place with a magnet. The grinder was then employed to remove the excess weld. The grinder left the metal slightly dipped, so I filled in those dips with Bondo and sanded everything flush. There were hundreds of screw holes to be patched on these panels, and I did that tedious process for every single one of them. And the Bondo leveling part of that process I had to do repeatedly because I'm not very good. I worked on this in the background when I had some free time, and it took me several weeks just for these couple of panels. And once all that tedious process was done, I had to take these panels off to grind off the excess weld on the back of all those screw hole patches, rust-proof them, and that leads me to now. Since lifting these panels into place is so difficult, I'm using pulleys and lifting them into place. And I can tie the rope around the wheel lug here. Then with it suspended roughly in place, I can temporarily attach it using Clecos. Now with this panel temporarily Clecoed into place, I can do any more paint work that I may need to do to the panel. In the case of this panel, not a heck of a lot, and I can drill out all of the screw holes for larger rivets that I'm going to be permanently attaching these panels with. I'm going to be using 1/4-inch steel rivets in the place of the screws that originally held these panels in place. There's several spaces on these panels, like right here, where the rub bar interrupted the even spacing of these screw holes. So I marked these holes using this little gauge right here that's called a divider or something. I don't know the name of this. I'll have an Amazon link down in the description where you can buy one of these yourselves, because it's a very useful tool for stuff like this. With all the new hole locations marked out like that, it's time to drill them all out. There are several spots along these two panels, like all of these spots here, where in the process of grinding off the excess weld from the back of the panel, I generated too much heat and the Bondo has bubbled up. So on this entire panel, I need to grind the Bondo off and re-Bondo all of the screw hole patches. Nothing like doing your work twice.
It's 1 o'clock, so I'm not going to even do it.
It's time to rivet the panels into place permanently.
Okay.
By the way, to rivet these panels, I'm going to be using this drill-powered rivet gun, because it's not quite as fast as an air-powered rivet tool, but it's a heck of a lot more convenient because I don't have to lug around an air hose. That's it for now on this side. Then a rinse and repeat for the two panels on the other side of the bus. Previously, I've shown you this, the Anker 521 Portable Powerhouse by Anker. Oh wait, I already said Anker. I'll say it again. This video is sponsored by Anker. That nifty little thing is a portable battery box that you can use to power and or charge your various devices through the 12-volt power socket. USB-C port, 2 USB 3.0 ports, and 2 AC outlets powered by an onboard 200-watt inverter. And it has a light. I love this thing, and it's come in handy in the most unexpected of places. But what if it's not enough for you? The inverter, as I said, is 200 watts, and the battery capacity is 256 watt hours. What if you need more? This is the new Anker 535 portable power station by Anker. Anker. The 535 is just like the 521, but more. Instead of 2 USB outlets, it has 3. Instead of 2 AC outlets, it has 4. Instead of 200 watts of inverter output, it has 500 watts. And instead of 256 watt hours of battery capacity, this has 512 watt hours of battery capacity. That's enough, so claims Anker's website, to power a CPAP machine for almost 10 hours. Or, long enough to actually sleep through the night. And the 535 still has all the great features from the 521, including a display that shows you the state of charge, time remaining, and wattage input and output, ultra-stable lithium iron phosphate battery chemistry, the ability to charge the battery box from either a 12-volt power outlet in your car, an AC outlet in your house, or a power outlet from the sky, otherwise known as solar panels. And this one also has a light, and it's brighter. And by the way, if you hold this light button down, it starts showing the SOS signal in Morse code. If you want to check out either of these battery boxes for yourself, there will be a link in the description below this video. I really do love these things, and they really do come in handy all the time. Thanks again to Anker for sponsoring this video. I like these things.
So he's just fixing the bus up. Okay.
Hang on, there's been a change of plans. I already showed you how I did all the hole punch filling, but what I didn't tell you is that's the method I used for the panels on the other side of the bus. For the panels on this side of the bus, I used a much quicker method at the time. What I did was, instead of mucking about with all those fancy little hole punch dropouts, what I did was I took the MIG welder gun, pointed it at all the holes, pulled the trigger. I just pumped the holes full of plug weld, which pumped the holes full of metal, and also pumped the panels full of heat. So now all of these panels where I did that method, which is both the panels on this side of the bus, are wavier than, well...
Okay, blah, 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 that. Okay. Okay. Know that.